Lin Yi was having a terrible day. He had just been fired from his job by manager Lai Yi, who seemed to take great pleasure in kicking him out of the building. And as if that wasn't bad enough, his girlfriend had just broken up with him over the phone because he wasn't rich enough for her. Lin was feeling pretty low as he trudged towards the elevator, holding a box of his belongings. Suddenly, a system lady named Ling Wade appeared in front of him, welcoming him to the full career experience system. She told him that he can experience something new every week, and completing tasks will result in rewards. The notification told him to receive the BlaBla registration package, 1,000 million yuan, a peninsula hotel stay, and a Pagani Windchild. Lin was excited as he went to the parking lot, where he met Ms. Jai struggling with her car. He offered to give her a ride. Then, a man came out of nowhere, telling her to ride with him in his sports car and insulting Lin's car. Ms. Jai refused and followed Lin. When he showed her his car, they were surprised, and she got in the car. At the Peninsula Hotel, Lin's ex-girlfriend Sissy Liu was with another guy named Yunji. As they were talking, Lin entered. She saw him and insulted him, assuming he was still poor. She called security to kick him out, but she was surprised when they bowed to him. Then she learned that Lin owns the hotel. Manager Wang took Lin to the conference room to give him a work report. A lady walked into the room, telling Wang that one of the guests wanted to file a complaint because the Mercedes-Benz she wanted to rent was borrowed by VIP users. Lin told Wang to keep looking at the financial issues while he sorted out the other issue. He knocked on the door, and a beautiful lady opened it. He told her he would drive her in his Pagani. She agreed and went to change her clothes. She came out of the room, and they went to the lobby. Sissy chased Yunji away and went to Lin, trying to get him back. Lin had no intention of getting back together with Sissy. He held Jinshu by the waist and told Sissy to get lost because she discussed him as they left the lobby of his hotel. He drove Jinshu to the Fairview Hotel where her classmate's wedding was taking place. Her friends were waiting outside to see the rich boyfriend she had bragged about and were surprised to see that Jinshu's boyfriend was indeed rich. As she walked towards them, Lin rolled down the window and told her to have fun. Meanwhile, landlady Wu Jinlan was furious with Lin for not paying his rent yet. However, when Lin showed up and transferred the rent along with some extra cash, she asked him about his plans for the future. Lin told her about his business plans and revealed that he was a rich second generation. At the Peninsula Hotel, Lin ordered some food before receiving a message from Wen Yan, who wanted him to pick her up. She got into the car, and Lin told her to place a BlaBla order first. After she placed the order, the system congratulated Lin for his second purchase and for transporting two beautiful women worth a score of 85 or more. She received rewards. Kin told Lin that her company is holding a launch, but she's having trouble finding a venue since all the hotels couldn't spare one. Lin recommended the Peninsula Hotel, but Kin thought it was impossible to book because it's a 5-star hotel. Lin drove to the hotel and said that she wouldn't pay for a single lane change if they couldn't negotiate. She offered to negotiate, and if the deal was done, she'd do squats for him. At the hotel, the receptionist recognized Kin as the boss and called the manager. The manager agreed to help Kin after Lin gave him the right signs. They left after telling the manager that the launch was in 10 days. At Ishi Villa, in Kin's room, she was doing squats for Lin when the door opened and her dad asked what was going on. Kin told her dad that Lin is her yoga instructor, but he didn't believe her. He asked him what he does for a living. Lin told him that he drives a BlaBla, and when he noticed that the Pagani Windchild at the door belonged to Lin, he was assured that his daughter was in safe hands and that Lin was stronger than any brat. Lin tried to explain that he and Kin weren't in a romantic relationship, but her father interrupted him and invited him to her grandpa's birthday party. Later, Lin received a message from his former colleague inviting him to a farewell dinner gathering. At the dinner, Jiang Dong and Huang Yui were bragging about their accomplishments, but Wang Ying told them that Lin's performance was better than theirs. Lin called them out for coming to show off instead of just seeing him off. Dong then asked Lin about his new plans, and Yue replied that should just go back to the countryside, since the city wasn't an easy mix. Dong offered Lin a job, but he declined. Later, a valet asked for the customer who owns the Pagani. Lin asked what was wrong with it, and the valet told him to move it since it was blocking other cars. The colleagues told Lin that they were talking about a Pagani, not his broken Charlie. Lin showed them the keys and told them it was his car. They were shocked that an orphan like Lin was rich. Lin offered to drive Ying back, and while driving, she asked if it was true that he runs a BlaBla. He told her he was not fooling her and asked her to place an order. The system scanned her and notified Lin that her score was 84, which did not meet the requirements of the mission. Lin asked her to do something to enhance her charm. She put on tights and the system's score reached 85. Lin was then awarded a villa at Jushigaku. When Yang reached her location, she invited Lin inside, but he told her he had something to do and promised to visit her next time. At Gai Shugaku Villa, Lin met his former colleague Zhang Menju. When he told her to call the manager, she told him that he couldn't afford anything at the villa. Then, manager Wang Hui appeared beside them and offered to give Lin a tour of the place. But Menju told her not to waste her time because Lin was poor. The manager told Menju that she was fired, and she told her that Lin had bought 9 villas in Kyushu Court after he took the real estate license. He received a message from Ying that Dong and Lily Yi were fired, and another from Qin to pick her up. When he arrived at Qin's office, the system lady notified him that if he completed the task, he would get 5-star reviews, 200,000 proficiency, and a career completion of 25%. He reminded her to give him a review, and she told him she owed him 9 squats and a review. Lin then kissed her, saying he didn't care about the review. Qin pushed him and got out of the car. Ying saw this and figured they were together, which was why the two were fired. Lin received a call from Xiao Yu to go to Tianyi's home and pretend to be her boyfriend. He knocked on the door, Xiao opened and introduced Lin to her parents. Her father asked what he does, and he said he's a blabla driver. They were angry at their daughter for dating a blabla driver, but she told them it's also profitable and reminded them that they were on their way to the party, and Lin would drop them off on their way to the mall. However, Lin told them to call another cab because his car is too small. They followed them outside, telling Xiao that she embarrassed them by finding a motorcycle driver for a boyfriend. When they saw the Pagani, they encouraged their daughter to go with Lin. On their way to the mall, Xiao asked if she could do a live stream in the car since she's a female anchor. Lin allowed her to do it in exchange for 5-star reviews. They arrived at the mall, and she gave him the reviews, and the system lady congratulated him for completing the task and rewarded him with 1 Shanghai International Circuit racing track. Xiao escorted Lin to buy a phone while live streaming. The shopkeeper gave Lin the phone and asked if he'd like to choose a phone case to protect it. Lin replied that his intention was to buy a lot of phones to replace them when one is broken. Xiao realized that her popularity had increased 5 times than before, so she went and asked Lin if he wanted to buy anything else. He told her he wanted a watch. One of the workers told Lai that they had guests, but she told him that they were just showing off fake wealth, and said the Jiangxi Egton was only for the rich. The average broadcaster could not afford to purchase it. Lin told them to show him the watch he was interested in, but Lai told him that they could only show it to him after payment. A rich couple, Mr. and Mrs. Lin, entered the shop. Lai went to attend to them, and when Mrs. Lin said she wanted the gold watch, Lai took it out of the box and showed it to her. Lin Mia confronted Lai about equally treating all the customers. She told him that they provide service by customer level. Lin was about to argue, but Xiao dragged Lin to another store. The staff welcomed them, and Lin asked Xiao to introduce him to the model since he was not familiar with it. She told him she'll ask the viewers because she wasn't familiar with it either. They recommended he buy the 175th anniversary model. She told Lin that she'll turn the phone off, but Lin told her to let them watch. The shopkeeper told Lin that they were out of stock and needed to be imported from Europe. The news spread that someone bought the expensive 175th model. Lai went to see who bought it. She started begging Lin to go back to her shop when she saw that it was him, but Lin reminded her that a poor man like him was not up to her service. He left her crying. Then he gave Lin a phone as an apology for making her shop with him. After that, he went to Shanghai and told the receptionist he wanted to talk to the manager. Qin Han appeared and asked what was going on. When she was taking Lin to the manager, Lin asked who the guy that closed the whole racetrack was. She told him that it was the famous Qin Han, and not many people in Shanghai dared to mess with him. They arrived at manager Zhao Heiton's office, who welcomed Lin and informed Xiao Zhao that the racetrack had been acquired by Lin. Heiton told Lin to look at the company's business, but he refused and told Heiton to keep running it the same way as before. Then, Heiton showed Lin the racetrack and asked if he wanted to drive 2 laps. Lin agreed and asked him to have someone bring his car. Qin Han confronted the manager, asking if he wanted to die for bringing outsiders while he had booked the place. Heiton informed Qin that Lin was the owner of the racetrack. Qin challenged Lin to a race, with the winner allowed to continue playing. Lin accepted the challenge. Kin bragged about his car, but when he saw Lin's, he asked if it really was his car. The race began, and Lin won. The audience was impressed by Lin's skills. Kin asked Lin why his car started running faster than his, even though Lin's car was not modified. Lin explained what he should do when starting the car to make it faster. Kin added Lin on WeChat, saying he would follow him in the future. Lin received a message and told Hayden that he would come to patrol another day, allowing Kin to continue playing on the track with the bill on him. At Yanshu Villa, Lin found that Ms. Jia was not ready, so he waited while she finished getting ready. Lin told Ms. Jia that there was a new email on her computer. She assumed it was business-related, but Lin told her it wasn't. The email mentioned her 36E underwear being shipped. Then he mentioned another email, prompting her to run out of the bathroom to stop Lin from opening it. In her attempt, she tripped, and to keep her from falling, Lin grabbed her robe, accidentally removing it from her body. Feeling embarrassed, she ran back into the bathroom. After finishing changing, Ms. Jia told Lin that she was going to the reunion. Lin told her that her dress was suitable for doing squats, and she asked him to close the curtains. After doing the squats, she told Lin that they should get going to Zhongting Sea and Land Exchange. When they were coming out of the room, they met her parents. Her dad asked if they were done, and she asked him what he was talking about. He explained that he saw the curtains closed, so he didn't want to go in. Her mom told her not to be shy because it's a normal need for adults. She insisted that nothing happened. Her mother invited Lin to her grandfather's birthday, and he told her he would come. They arrived at the location, and Lin opened the car door for Kin Yan, reminding her about the review and to place an order when she wanted to go home. The system congratulated him for safe driving, awarding him 21% of the equity of the blazing company. The system lady told Lin that his profession had reached 55%. If he completed another 35%, he would be able to open a new career, and when the career reached 100%, he would receive generous rewards. Lin was ecstatic and said he would continue to accept orders. He then picked up Xiang from Starbucks to take her to Kyushu Court Villa. She excitedly introduced herself and asked Lin where he was taking her, hoping she had landed a rich boyfriend. Lin explained that he was the blabla driver. She then insulted him and told him to drive slowly, because if he scratched the car, he wouldn't be able to afford to pay for it. Lin informed her that he owned the car. She laughed and continued to insult him, to the point that Lin stopped the car and told her to get out. She threatened to give Lin a bad review. Lin left her and drove to the Kyushu Pavilion, where he saw that she indeed gave him a bad review. He then received a call from the headquarters about the review, and they told him to wait for suspension. Kin told Ding that he should have a sense of superiority. Ding's girlfriend told Kin and Lin that Ding had bought a Mercedes-Benz Class G, which Lin couldn't afford in his lifetime. Ding was annoyed that Kin Yan was protecting Lin. When they went to show off Ding's car, Yan reminded him that he had said his favorite car was the Pagani. Ding replied, and the lady saw the Pagani next to Ding's car. She told Ding, and he went to see it. When Lin went close to the car, Ding told him not to blink because the car was so expensive. He got the shock of his life when he saw Lin holding the Pagani's keys. When he asked how Lin had that car since he was only a blabla driver, Lin told him not to let poverty limit his imagination. Lin drove off, and Kin changed the location to the beach. While at the beach, she asked Lin to pretend to be her boyfriend at her grandfather's birthday party, and he agreed. Then she noticed that the pavilion lights were on. Lin offered to drive her there, or maybe she could stay there for the night. Lin showed Yan the outside of the villa. When he offered to show her the inside of the compound, she told him that they should just remain outside because it would be ugly to be thrown out. Lin asked what she would do for him if he took her inside. She told him she would let him watch her swim in a bikini. Lin drove past the security guards, and she was shocked that the guards let them in. When he was giving her the tour, they found a pool, and Lin reminded her of the promise she had made. She told him she didn't have a bikini, so they would talk about it later. He took her inside the villa and told her he had bought the whole Kyushu Pavilion villa. Kin Yan asked him if he had gotten his money from the wind. Lin told her that he had gotten it more easily than from a strong wind. Lin told Kin Yan to sleep in the villa for the night, and he gave her his pajamas. When Kin was taking a shower, Lin was reading a newspaper. She called him, and when he entered the bathroom, he saw that she had fallen. She asked him to help her up because she had twisted her ankle. While helping her, they noticed that they were too close to each other, and then they kissed. The next morning, Kin Yan woke Lin up to take her to work. After that, he went to the Peninsula Hotel to have breakfast. The manager offered to tell the kitchen to prepare it, but Lin told him he would do it himself. At the hotel restaurant, after he read the menu, he called the waitress to take his order and was surprised to see that it was Lai Yi, the manager who had fired him from his previous job. Lai Yi started insulting Lin, calling him a rich woman's plaything because that was the only way he could afford to eat at the peninsula. Her colleague tried to stop her, but she was too adamant about embarrassing Lin. Lin asked another waitress to call manager Wang. When the manager arrived, he told Lai Yi that Lin owned the hotel and informed her that she was fired. He called security to throw her out after telling her that he would blacklist her so no company could hire her. After apologizing to Lin, his food arrived. While eating, he received a call from the vice president of Jobless to schedule a meeting with him as the representative of the company. He told her he would contact her in the afternoon. Meanwhile, Vice President Chen Yan told her assistant Xiao Yan that she was going to take a look at the Jerez. The assistant called a cab. When Lin arrived, they were surprised that the company was powerful enough to use a sports car to drive blah blah passengers. Tian told Lin that girls would say it was hot when they got in his car. Lin asked if there was a rule that said he couldn't run blah blah if he drove a sports car. Tian told Lin to watch his words and threatened to suspend him. Lin asked if she had the power to do that. She showed Lin her card and told him that she was the vice president of blah blah. Lin informed her that he was also a shareholder and that she had called him earlier to arrange a meeting. She believed him and apologized. When they reached the location, she tried to pay, but it was declined. Lin saw the notification that the Jerez Corporation had suspended him. Chin offered to talk to them, but Lin insisted on going in with her. They entered the conference room and Lin explained his problem. Jerez President Wenda Lu told the operations manager, Yuanfa, to take care of it. Yuanfa scolded Lin and told him to get out before he called security. Lin told Tyne to handle it while he was sitting down. Tan told them that she was the vice president of blah blah and that she exempted Jerez from operating for suspending a driver without proper investigation. She also informed them that Lin was a shareholder of blah blah. When Wenda Lu told Lu Yuanfa to apologize, Lin said that he approved of Tian's resolution and disqualified their operation. Then, Qin Yan called him to take her to the mall to shop for the birthday party. Tian told Lin that she had taken care of everything and also added new features to it. Lin asked Tyne if she knew a place where they sold better antique paintings. Tian told him that she would have her assistant pick up a painting at Zhangdachin, and he shouldn't worry about the money. He told her to send it to the manager at the peninsula, and since he didn't like to owe people favors, he would give 1% equity for the painting. When he was about to leave, Tian told Lin that their president wanted to invite Lin to be a guest in Yangcheng. He agreed. Then he received another order from King Star to Goat Island Hotel. He drove Yang Qin-sin, who was talking to her boyfriend about the underwear she had bought. She told Lin that the company must be quite good to think of such marketing techniques. Lin told her that it wasn't the company's idea, but it was his car. He dropped her off at the Peninsula Hotel, and she gave him a 1-star review. Then he went to the mall with Qin Yan. He confronted her, saying that she hadn't given him a 5-star review yet. She told him that it would depend on his behavior. Then he reminded her about the promise, so they went into stores looking for bikinis. At the first store, Qin saw that they didn't have her size, so she told Lin and they went to another store. Lin chose a black, revealing bikini for her to wear when she was swimming in front of him, and Qin chose a less revealing bikini. He told her that she would wear it when she went out to have fun with her friends. They went to the 4th floor to look for outfits. While she was trying on a dress, she called Lin to help her with the zipper. Lin told Qin that the dress was beautiful. Meanwhile, a lady who was with Mr. Zhang liked the same dress and told him that she wanted one. The shopkeeper informed her that there was only one custom model set, so they could look for other styles. Mr. Zhang insisted that Qin should take off the dress, and he would pay an extra 20,000. However, Lin told the shopkeeper that he would add 200,000. Mr. Zhang was shocked and left the dress for Qin. She whispered to Lin that she would let him feast his eyes on it for standing up for her, and then Lin bought a suit. They went back to the villa's pool. Qin wore the black bikini while Lin was wearing his boxers, leaving his abs on display. Lin carried Qin and jumped into the pool. She told him not to let go of her, because she couldn't swim. Lin said he would teach her. He taught her until she was floating on her own, but then she suddenly wasn't able to keep herself from drowning and went under the water. Lin swam towards her and pulled her out, then he kissed her. They flirted in the pool before going inside the villa. While Kim was taking a shower, Lin borrowed her phone. Then the system lady informed him that, for completing the mission, he was rewarded with 100,000 proficiency points, Wanjiang Pier, and a career completion increase of 75%. Kin got out of the shower and sat on the bed next to Lin. Lin told her his story, that he was an orphan and had been raised by others. After that, they went to bed. While he was sleeping, his phone rang and Wang Ma told him that Sissy wanted her to talk to him about their relationship. Lin told her that he would never get back with her again. Wang Ma then told him to meet her friend's daughter, Song Wai Hui, at Tian Yute House the following day. The next day, Lin went to meet with the girl, but found her whole family waiting for him. Song's mother asked about his work at the real estate company, and he told them that he was fired. She asked what he did for a living, and he told them he was a blabla driver and could barely make ends meet. Then she told him that if he wanted to marry her daughter, he should buy a suite in full at Shanghai and pay a bride price of 888,000. Lin told them that it was too much, and Song's brother asked Lin to buy a 500,000 imported car. When he told them that he couldn't afford all that, they told him that when the orphanage was moved and the land was sold, he would have enough. Lin got angry and poured tea on Song's brother. He walked out and went to the parking lot. Song's brother threw a potted plant at Lin, but he dodged it, and it scratched his car. When they saw the damage to the Pagani windshield, they asked him how they could compensate him. They went to the parking lot to see the car. May tried to apologize for her brother, but Lin told them that if they didn't send 2,000 million within a week, they would be waiting for the court's summons. Then, Lin went to Wangjiang Port and found a girl offering her body to manager Mio Changju of terminal operation to compensate for breaking a boat's chair. When Lin confronted them, Changju told Lin that he was the manager and decided whether to pay or not. Lin told him that he would pay if the girl left without paying. Then he entered the building, and the secretary took him to the conference room. Manager Bai Song Jiang welcomed Lin. Lin told them that he didn't think everyone was present, so they would wait. The manager sent Xiao to call Mio Changju, who entered the room while buttoning his shirt. When Lin spoke to him, he knelt down, apologizing, saying he didn't know that Lin was the new chairman. Lin told manager Bai to kick him out. In the meeting, he talked about upgrading the pier and increasing their salaries. After that, he received a call about the painting and told them to deliver it to Eastlake Villa. When they entered the villa, Kin instantly attracted people's attention with her beauty. They went straight to her grandfather. Mr. Ji tried to get Kin to introduce her boyfriend, but Kin's cousin Chin Sin recognized Lin as the blabla driver and told the family members. Her parents were confused. Kin tried to explain to them that he drives for fun. Mr. Ju was about to chase him out when the shopkeepers delivered the 175th anniversary watch he purchased. They were surprised that a blabla driver could afford that kind of watch. Mr. Jen told Tian Sin to apologize for misunderstanding Lin. Tan's mom told Kin Yan that the boy would dump her soon even though he's rich. She said he doesn't care because he did not buy a present for Mr. J, but her daughter's fiancé bought a gift. Kin then took the gift she had prepared for her grandpa and tried to give it to him, saying it was from Lin. However, Lin told her that she shouldn't help him by giving the gift she bought for Mr. G, saying it was from him. He told her that he had already prepared a present, so he handed the painting to Mr. Jai. When Mr. J saw that the painting was John Dachin's peach garden painting, he was shocked. Tan's fiancé, Fu Zheng, told the people that the painting was probably a fake because the owner, Mr. Cheng Xuan, was their president and he had always refused to sell it. Lin remembered that Fu Zheng had said he was the head of Blabla, so he told him that he was disqualified from operating. Zheng asked Lin who he was to be speaking such nonsense. Lin told him that he owned shares of Blabla and told him to call Cheng and ask about what he had just told him. Zheng called and put him on speaker. He asked about Lin Yu, and the president confirmed what Lin had told him and said that if he disrespected him, he'd disqualify him. He also told Zheng that he had given the painting to Lin. Zheng dropped his phone and started apologizing. Lin revoked his operation and asked for the painting's compensation since he had torn it, thinking it was fake. Zheng begged Tyne to help him, but she told him to get lost. Lin told Zheng to get up, that girls like Tian weren't worth it. Then he told Kin's father that he wanted to talk to their family in private. They gathered in a room, and Lin told them that he had driven Tian Sin to Peninsula Hotel, carrying a bag full of erotic stuff to play Philly landlord with two black guys. Tian denied the accusations, but Lin sent a video to Kin. When Mr. Ju watched the video, he slapped her. Her mom tried to protect her, but Kin's dad stopped her, not wanting to get involved in family affairs. He told them he was leaving. Kin escorted Lin out, and thanked him for the expensive painting. Lin told her that she had to place an order in the future, and he left. Lin got an order. Meanwhile, Mu-Rai was trying to get Yuan Yua to ride to school with him in his new BMW, but she told him she was not interested. Lin arrived and told her to get in the car. She asked Lin why he ran blah blah while he drove a sports car. Lin told her that it didn't matter what car he drove. The important thing was to make money through one's own efforts. When they reached the location, she asked to add him on VX. When he asked why, she asked him if he believed in love at first sight. He told her that she was innocent, and that next time she shouldn't just say that to people. He left and received a call from May. Lin asked if she called about the compensation money. She told him that the family was testing him the other day, and he had passed, so now they were boyfriend and girlfriend. Lin was on his way to Shanghai when he met Xiao Yu. He told her to get in the car and asked if she was going to Shanghai International Circuit. She told him that she was going there to do a live broadcast, since an event was taking place there. They arrived and found Ren Zixuan and Sun Ru, popular anchors, arguing. Xiao asked them what was going on. Ru explained that Ren wanted to get rid of them so that she could do the live broadcasting alone. Ren told them that the owner of the track said only one anchor was needed. They continued arguing, and Lin told Ru and Xiao to follow him. Ren told Lin that if he messed with Qin Han, he would die without knowing how to die. They followed Lin to the track race. When they saw the expensive cars, Ru asked Lin if he was sure that they could broadcast live. Lin told them to prepare their equipment. Meanwhile, Ren told Qin and manager Zhao that Xiao and Ru had broken in, especially the one in the lead. She said this as she pointed at Lin, and told them that he was crazy. Then she saw that Zhou bowed to Lin and Qin was calling Lin's name. She asked them if they knew Lin. Qin told her that Lin was the owner of Shanghai Circuit. Lin told Qin that his friend had insulted him. Qin turned to look at Ren and told her to get lost. She pleaded with them to let her stay and do the broadcasting, but they called security to throw her out. Then, Qin Han challenged Lin to a race, saying he had improved his cornering skills. Lin accepted. When the race was about to begin, Qin told Lin that the loser would give money to the winner. The race began, and Lin won. Qin gave Lin 210 million. Lin gave the money to the manager and told him that his Pagani had a scratch, so he should get it fixed. Qin Han's jaw dropped when he heard that Lin was using so much money to fix his car. Then, Lin told Xiao that he was leaving. If they needed anything, they should find manager Zhao. Lin had 3 new orders, but he went to have lunch first. He arrived when Aunt Liu was about to close to go pick up Shou Jing from school. He told her that he would pick her up before eating and then left after telling her the food he wanted to eat. When Lin entered Shou Jing's class, he found a lady yelling at Xiao's teacher for not stopping Shou Jing from scratching her son's face, saying it would delay his career because he wanted to enter the entertainment industry. Lin told the boy that he was overthinking it if he thought he could enter the entertainment industry with his face. When Xiao saw that it was Lin, she approached him, and Lin asked her what had happened. She explained and also showed Lin her torn clothes. Lin told the lady that it was her son's fault, so they didn't want to be the first to sue. She told Lin to watch his words and that if they paid the compensation, the issue would not be over. Xiao told the lady that her son had bullied her first, and the lady replied, saying a poor girl like her only had to endure bullying. Lin slapped her, and she called her husband, a human resources manager of Zhonghan Capital. He barged into the classroom, and his son told him that Lin had slapped his mom. Lai Duwang asked Lin to apologize to his wife before he called his boss, Qin Han. He didn't know that Lin knew Qin Han, so he called Han and told him the situation. Qin Han called Duwang, telling him that he was fired. When Lin and Xiao reached Aunt Liu's restaurant, he told Xiao not to tell her mom what had happened at school. Lin went to Qin Yan's office and gave her the food he had bought at Aunt Liu's, telling her that it was the best egg fried rice. Yan opened the lid and asked Lin if it was from Aunt Liu's. Lin confirmed that it was and said she should eat it before it got cold. She asked Lin to feed her, and while he was doing so, Qin Han called Lin. He told Lin that he had found girls with top-notch bodies and invited Lin to go have fun with him. Lin replied, saying he couldn't join him because the girls on his side were nothing compared to the one girl beside him. Yan blushed when she heard what Lin said. Qin Han told Lin to take a picture and send it to him to see if the girl looked better than the ones on his side. If she did, he would live upside down to eat Shang. Lin asked Yan if they could take a selfie. She asked why he wanted to take a picture all of a sudden. Lin told her that he wanted to use her picture to show someone what real beauty was. Lin sent the selfie, and Kin Han sent a text telling Lin that the girl was very good-looking. Then they went to the car, and Lin asked Yan to tell him the procedures to follow to set up a charitable foundation. She told him that an organization like that was not easy to handle. He told her that he didn't care. He just wanted to do as much as he could on his own. She told him she would ask around for him. When they reached her location, he asked her if she could escort him to Yangqing with him if she was free, and she told him that it would depend on whether she was free or not. Then she gave Lin a 5-star review. The system lady told Lin that he had accomplished the mission and he could open a new career. His new career was a college physical education teacher, and he received a potion and sage wisdom. Lin drank the attribute increase potion, and his body changed. While lying in bed, his phone rang, and he was told that the Pagani's engineer had already been contacted. Kin Yan bought a first-class ticket for Lin and told him that she wouldn't be able to escort him. She asked the name of the orphanage he would be staying at. Lin told her that it was Blue Sky. On a plane, singing Feng and Lai Yu Yang were discussing that it was rare to see a handsome young man in first class. Feng Houyub told them that later they would know that good-looking skin was the same, but a rich young man with money was 1 in a million. Lin looked at Houyub and told him that if he wanted to act tough, he should do it himself and not bring him into it. Houyub sat in the seat next to Lin and challenged Lin that they should ask the stewardess for her WeChat, and if she chose Houyub, it would prove that money was more important than face value. He told the stewardess, and when he was showing off his watch, the stewardess saw Lin's anniversary model and instantly asked for Lin's WeChat. Then Yan entered. Houyub saw her and told Lin that if he lost again, he would accept defeat. While he was asking for her WeChat, Lin held Yan by the waist and put her on his lap. Houyub called Lin a scum for putting his arms around a woman's waist he doesn't even know. Lin told him that it's called love at first sight, and it's headed for marriage. They arrived at the orphanage, and the kids ran to them. Kin gave the kids the gifts she bought and introduced herself to Wang Kuping and Zhao. Kuping sent Zhao to go share the gifts with the kids. Zhao saw that Ning Yu has arrived with her boyfriend. He called Kuping to come and see. Yan asked Lin who Ning was, and he told her that her full name is Gu Ning Yu. She went out of the orphanage and went to a college in Yangcheng. The kids ran to King and started touching Wang Tao's car. He yelled at the kids, saying they should not make it dirty because he would have to pay a lot of money to paint it. Ning Yu excitedly introduced herself to Kin Yan. Wang Tao tried to shake Kin Han's hand while introducing himself, but Lin slapped his hand, making Tao furious. Wanting to humiliate Lin, he told Wang Kuping that he will donate 100,000 yuan to the orphanage, but she rejected his offer, and Lin told her to accept it. Then Tao told Lin to donate, and Lin told him that he will donate 100 million. Tao laughed, saying if an online car driver like him donates 100 million, then he will donate 10 times more. Lin donated the money, and when Tao saw the notification on Kuping's phone, he was shocked. Lin asked Tao when he will donate, but he got in his car and drove off, leaving Ning Yu. As they were eating, Kin asked Lin to escort her to the Yanqing branch to check out some accounting problems. They went to Shoan Group Yanqing branch, and the vice president Wang Zhenyi was surprised to see Kin. She told him to bring the year's accounts to the conference room. While looking at the files, he saw that it was short by more than 30 million. She asked where Zhenyi went and that she wants to call the police. Suddenly, 3 men barged into the office. One of the guys said Zhenyi owes them 1 million yuan, and if she's willing to stay with him one night, they'll let it go. Lin told them that he knows that they were sent by Zhenyi to delay them from calling the police. Then he offered them 2 million yuan to help send Zhenyi to the police. Lin drove Kin to the police station and told her that the matter can't be published because the Sunrise Group's market value could evaporate a lot. Then he told her to go in while he goes after Zhenyi. She told him that it's too dangerous, she can't let him go. After a lot of convincing, she let Lin go. 3 hours later, Lin came back with Zhenyi escorted by the police. When Zhenyi saw Kin, he started pleading with her not to sue him and promised to pay back all the money. She told him to wait for the law to punish him. After they were done, they went back to the orphanage to say goodbye and then returned to Shanghai. At Yanshubilla, Kin offered to cook for Lin as a way to repay him. After eating dinner, they went to bed. The next morning, Lin woke up and saw that Kin Han was not next to him. He figured she went to the office early. Then the HR manager of Shanghai University called him and said he could start work the next day. Kin Yan called Lin to pick her up, but Lin told her that he can't because he's a university teacher and can't leave early on the first day. In the office, Lin introduced himself to Lai Xingbang. Then the director of learning and teaching, Suj, gave Lin the task to contact senior hospitality graduates for internships with a salary less than 3,000 and must cover room and board. When he's finished, he will be assigned a class. Lin was taken to his workstation, then he called Wang Tang to come to the school. Half an hour later, Tang arrived and Lin introduced Wang Tang, the manager of Peninsula Hotel, to the director as the intern. The director was impressed and told Lin to schedule a class for Wang Tang, leaving uncertainty as to how he will perform as a teacher. Lin was going to Wangjiang Terminal when a lady nearly ran him over with her car. Lin jumped out of the way, while the lady yelled at him, saying to watch it and not to touch her car. Lin told her that he did not touch her car. The lady, named Shikanshin, parked her car close to Lin. She got out of the car and told Lin that her car was worth more than 1 million, and if he touched it, he would not be able to afford to pay for it. Lin looked at her, saying he drives a Pagani, but he doesn't act the way she was acting. She laughed at Lin and called him a bastard, saying he was dreaming. She entered the meeting room at the office, where she was welcomed by the designing director, Quan Ya. While Quan was conversing with Quan, Lin entered the room. He saw Quan and asked if she was an employee at the company. Quan replied, saying she was a well-known designer of the company. Lin told her to go, that she was not needed anymore. Quan pleaded for Lin to forgive her, but he wasn't hearing any of it. After she left, in the meeting, they discussed making the company the leading industry for 10 years. The meeting ended with the director of Tongxin Research Institute telling Lin that they had acquired the Tongxin Research Institute, and Lin told the director that he would be there tomorrow at 1 p.m. The next morning, Lin went to the college. Suj told Lin to get ready and also informed him that if the attendance rate falls below 95%, the entire bonus would be deducted. Then, Lai told Lin the directions to the classroom. On his way to class, he met 2 girls. They asked Lin where his classroom was so they could go and support him. After that, he continued heading to the class, and one of the girls sent a text to a group, informing other students where Lin's class would be held. In the classroom, Lin had only 30 students. Suj and Lai entered the class and saw that the number of students was still the same. After some time, the students started piling in. Suj wondered why so many students were coming to the class. Lai told her that maybe it was because of Lin's handsome face. The number of students reached 100. Lai told Suj that they should get going, as there was no need for statistics, but she insisted on staying so that she could see how he took the class. Meanwhile, Lin was telling the class that he would call out names, and those who did not hear their names should go and register. He finished the lesson and bid Suj goodbye. On his way out, the system lady congratulated him for completing his first lesson of his teaching career and awarded him a master memory. He asked her how it differed from the sage memory. She explained that the sage memory was broad but refined, while the master memory would have specialized knowledge in a certain field. He would be asked to make a selection for the master memory to be filled. The master memory filling succeeded. At the Longxin Research Institute, Lu Ding asked director Sun who had acquired the institute's other party. He told her that a rich young man had acquired it, and he would arrive soon. She told Sun that she had reached the most critical stage of the research, and it was going to be the end. Sun replied, telling her to look at the matter with a normal mind. Vice President Liu Chu told Sun that he was not too optimistic, since outsiders were guiding the insiders to the future situation. Lin arrived, and Sun introduced himself, offering to show him around. They were discussing the equipment when Liu Chu told Lin that the institute had its own research directions, and he didn't want him to interfere too much with their work. Lin asked what Liu's level of degree was, and he replied that he had a Fudan University diploma in computer communication. He also told Lin that he was a doctor from Fudan, a rare talent, so Lin should not insult him. Liu told Lin that as long as he overcame the last problem of the project in his hands, he could make the domestic chip take a 10-year leap, and if he left, Lin's loss would be incalculable. Lin replied, saying the Earth wouldn't stop moving without him, and he asked Sun what project Liu was talking about. Sun explained it to Lin. Then Lin sat in a chair in front of a computer and told them that he would do it. He finished writing the code and told Sun that he would send 50 million later so that he could use it to replace the old equipment with the latest, and that each person would be given a bonus of 500,000. Ying stepped forward and apologized for her behavior. Then she told him that she would like to ask him professional questions. Lin shared his contact information with her. Mr. Sun was escorting Lin out of the building, and they met President Zhao Qi of Shidai University, who came to borrow a lab. Since Lin was the boss, He gave the old equipment to the university. Then, the secretary of the president, Chu Chang, recognized him as one of the teachers at the university. The president promoted him to the position of honorary vice president, and it would be low-key. The next day at the university, Fu Chejun entered the office, telling Lin to leave the university because his arrival had given Director Suj a lot of trouble. Lin asked him if he was bullying him and wanted him to leave with just a few words. Lai whispered to Lin, telling him to stop talking because Fu's uncle was the vice president of administration. Suj entered the office, saw Fu, went to Lin's side, and reminded Fu that she had told him not to come to her office again. Fu told Suj that he would kill Lin for making things difficult for her. Suj touched Lin's chest, telling Fu that Lin and she were just in the normal course of work, and it had nothing to do with him. Fu was surprised, and he told Suj that a black sheep like Lin was not allowed in their school. Fu left, and after some time, Suj's phone rang. The principal told her to call Lin to the office and advised her to tell Lin to go there with a better attitude. The moment Lin entered the office, Fu told him that he was fired. Lin asked to know the reason he was getting fired for. Vice President Lai Deshul told Lin that with his education, he was not suitable to work at a university. Meanwhile, Zhao Qi sent Lin a text about signing the contract, and Lin told him that it wouldn't be possible because he was about to get fired. When Deshul saw that Lin was busy on his phone, he called him an arrogant man. Then Zhao Qi walked into the office, demanding to know what was going on. He listened to the explanation, and then Zhao yelled at Deshul, saying he had a hard time trying to make Lin an honorary vice president. Fu and Deshul were shocked, and Zhao told them that Lin was the director of the Longxin Research Institute. He fired Fu and Deshul and promoted Lin as the director, stating that they could share the office with Suj. The system lady congratulated Lin and awarded him the Twin Mansion. A person from the Twin Mansion called, and Lin told the person that he would go there tomorrow morning. After that, Lin entered Suj's office without knocking and found her changing her clothes. She chased him out. Lin arrived at an event with Qin Yan. While she was chatting with her friends, he went to get food for himself at a table in the room. A woman approached him to get his WeChat, and he told her that it was inconvenient. She insulted him and left. Then he overheard Yan and her friends talking about the big project at Yolu Design. Yan wondered who the boss would end up being. The general manager of Shanghai Wingfeng Engineering, Wai Ziyang, asked Yan if she was interested in the renovation project of Wangjing Terminal. She told him she was interested, but the problem was that there was no network in the area. Ziyang told her that he could make a way since the boss was his cousin. He just had to meet him for dinner to discuss it. Lin was watching this. When Ziyang tried to touch Yan, Lin walked over to them and slapped his hand, saying he should forget about the dinner. Yan turned him down because she already had dinner plans with Lin. Ziyang called her arrogant for saying no to the big project. When Lin told him that the project would not be given to him, he laughed. Lin told him to call his cousin. He called, and Lin mentioned his name. Ziyang asked his cousin if he knew Lin, and the cousin confirmed that Lin was the one who gave him the project. Ziyang apologized for his behavior. Then, Lin told Yan that he would wait for her in the lounge. After some time, Yan went to the lounge and found Lin sleeping on the couch. When she went closer, he grabbed her and made her sit on his lap. Still on his lap, Yan told Lin that she couldn't see through him anymore because he had acquired the Wangjing Terminal. She assured him that she would finish the Wangjing Terminal project with quality and quantity. Lin told her that he didn't give her the project, but she convinced him until he agreed. The next day, Lin went to the place where he had bought the Twin Mansion. He met Mo King Wan, his college classmate. She asked him what he had been doing after they graduated. Lin told her that he was a college teacher. Wan bragged about the money she got paid and asked what he was doing at that place. He told her that he wanted to buy a house. The workers were standing at the front of the building, waiting for the rich man who had bought the Twin Mansion. The Far East marketing manager, Ren Zhongshu, called Xing Wan. She introduced Lin and told Ren to have dinner with them so that Ren could arrange a new job for Lin. Ren told Wan that it was a waste to have dinner with Lin because he was a poor man. Then he told Wan that they should go. Lin walked towards the workers, telling them that he had not only bought 2 of their buildings but also that the show was quite big. Ren turned to Lin in panic and told Wan to get rid of Lin. Qin Wan was trying to get rid of Lin when Mr. Liu asked who she was. Mr. Liu told them that Lin was the one who bought the Twin Mansion. Then he told Ren and Wan to pack their stuff and go. Ren asked to have dinner with Lin, but Lin told him that he was not qualified to have dinner with him. Mr. Liu took Lin to sign the contract. Half an hour later he was done and Mr. Liu recommended his brother-in-law's property company. Lin told Liu to tell his brother-in-law to contact him. Meanwhile, Wan broke up with Ren, saying she wanted to give Lin Yai a chance because he wrote her a love letter when they were in college. Lin walked out of the building and Wan approached him, saying she was giving him a chance and reminding him of the letter he had written her. However, Lin told her that the letter was from Zhang Song, not him. Lin walked to his car and she followed him, getting into Lin's car and telling him to take her home because she had been fired. Lin managed to get rid of Wan and he drove off. On the road, he found Ying arguing with a man because her bike had been knocked by the wind and smashed his car. Lin noticed that it wasn't windy. When Lin started asking about the surveillance videos from the security cameras and mentioned calling the police, the man apologized. Lin took Ying in his car and drove her to her house. He asked why she hadn't gotten a car yet since she was promoted. Ying told Lin that it wasn't good to buy a car right after getting promoted. He offered to take her car shopping. Then, Ying told Lin to let her brother go and that she would pay for it with her body. Lin told her that she could go to jail and pay for it, as he had already contacted a lawyer. Then, she tried to take off her clothes to pay for his help, but Lin told her not to be impulsive and that they would be at her house soon. They arrived at Ying's house, and she told him to sit on the couch while she went to take a shower. She walked out of the bathroom and told Lin to come and see her because she was feeling dizzy. Lin found her lying in her bed and asked her if she lived alone. She told him that she was divorced and asked Lin to kiss her. As they were lying in bed together, Lin asked why she had divorced, and she told him that her husband had cheated on her. After some time, Lin got out of bed and left. The next morning at the college, Lin found his desk missing. When Lai told him that it was in Suju's office, he asked Lai to help him move it out because he didn't want to be with a tigress. Suj came out of the office and asked Lin who he was calling a tigress. Lin stammered, saying that she had misheard him. Then the office phone rang and Suj answered. Liu Yang told her that Sun Xiaoyu was about to jump from the building because of work. Lai asked her what was going on, and she explained it to them while running to the exit, telling Lin to follow her. When Lin asked who the girl was, Suj explained to him that she was an outstanding student. She had rented her an apartment after the internship, and she worked at Zhonghan Capital. Now, she didn't know what was going on. They reached the scene and went to the rooftop to try persuading her with the permission of the police. Suj asked Xiaoyu what had happened, and she told them that she had been molested by the vice president of the company, and her boyfriend didn't believe her. When they tried to move closer to her, she threatened that she would jump off. Lin told her to jump and not waste everyone's time. He also told her that if she dies, the one who molests her will not be brought to justice. She told him that it was impossible because he is the vice president of Zhonghan. Lin promised her that he would send him to jail. When she tried to jump off, Lin went and dragged her back to the rooftop. Then, he told the police to make a statement as soon as possible. Suj asked Lin where he was heading to, and he told her that he was going to Zhonghan Capital to look for evidence. Suj told Lai to take care of the girls, and she went to Zhonghan Capital with Lin. They reached Zhonghan Capital and told the receptionist that he was looking for Kui Bin Long. When the receptionist refused to let him see Bing, he dialed a number and asked for Ben's office. They barged into Kui Bin's office while he was talking to Liu Changming. Lin asked Kui how he would justify molesting a student. Kui told them that Xiaoyu seduced him, and he didn't want to, so she framed him. Suj tried to slap him, but he caught her hand and pushed her to the side, saying she's not in a position to talk to him, and he has left the matter in the hands of the legal affairs. Lin kicked Kui, sending him flying to the ground, and Kui told Liu Changming to call the security guards. Then he stood up, planning to lunge at Lin, but Lin was fast, so he kicked him again in the face, making him lose a couple of teeth. The head of the legal department of Zhonghan Yu, Jin Song, told Lin to stop or they would be prosecuted for international assault. Someone yelled that Mr. Qin was on his way. Kui told Lin that his good days are over. Lin asked him if he thinks Lin would stand up for him. He told him that Qin Han would help him because Qin's father is his cousin's uncle. Qin Han arrived, and Lin explained the situation to him. Han kicked Kui, making him bleed from the nose. Then Qin Han turned to Lin, telling him that he would help him with the matter. Lin told him that he was leaving and reminded him to send Kui to jail. He grabbed Suj's hand, and they walked out of the building. The system lady congratulated him for accidentally saving the student, rewarding him 1 billion RMB. Then Suj told Lin to go home and rest so that tomorrow he could escort her to see Choyu's boyfriend. While he was resting at the Kyushu Pavilion, his phone rang, telling him about the property. He told Yang Chanbo to meet tomorrow because he was exhausted. Meanwhile, at Triumphville, Han's father Zheng Qin asked Han why he sent Kui to jail. He explained that he offended his friend. Then he told Han that he has found a girl for him. At first, Han declined, but when he showed him that girl's picture, he told his father that the girl is beautiful. Qin Han then recognized the girl as Qin Yan. He showed his father a picture of her with her boyfriend Lin Yi. The father told Han to go and have fun and that they would talk about it later. The next day, Lin entered a building and Feng Xin, a receptionist, asked him if he came to do business. Lin told her that he wanted to register a company. She gave him some forms to fill out. He gave the forms to a man, but the man gave them back to Lin, saying they were not filled out correctly. When Lin asked where the mistake was, the man told him that the registered capital was written as 500 million. Lin told him that it wasn't a mistake. The man laughed. Feng Xin walked towards them and told Mei Yi that it was just a form, and she would help him fill out a new one. But Lin insisted that it wasn't a mistake. Then he showed Mei Yi the supporting documents from the bank, but he still told Lin to refill the form because he wrote the entire twin mansion. Lin told him it was his company and showed him the purchase contract. Then Suj called Lin to meet her at Star Dad to talk to Xiaoyu's boyfriend. Later, Yang Feng arrived and sat across from them, playing with his car keys. Suj explained to him about the situation with Xiaoyu and that he should step in and comfort her, but he told her that they broke up and had no intentions of being with her. Then Feng's father took Feng to a meeting. When he saw Lin, he told him to stop chasing after him because he won't care about that woman. His father asked him what he was talking about, and Feng told him that Lin is a teacher at his university. Tanbo slapped Feng and told him that Lin is the one who bought the twin mansion. He continued beating his son, and then a man stepped out of the building, asking Lin if he wants them to be kicked out. Lin told him that he would take care of them. They stopped and looked at Lin. He told them that he also owns the Peninsula Hotel. Chenbo apologized for his son, and Feng told Lin that he would get back with Xiaoyu and marry her. But Lin told him to leave her be. Then he told Tanbo to send his son back so he could talk to them alone. Feng left, and Lin told Tanbo to control the son. Otherwise, the future business will not be big enough for him to lose. Lai and Suj were talking about Xiaoyu when the phone rang, informing her that Feng is in the office waiting for her. She entered her office and asked Feng what he wants from her. He apologized to her and said that Lin made him realize his mistakes and he wants to see Xiaoyu. She told him she would take him. Meanwhile, Lin knocked on Ning's door to take her to buy a car, and he found her making breakfast. She offered him some. After breakfast, they went to the car store, and Ju welcomed them and asked for the car's specific requirements. Ying told him that she wants a good-looking car priced within 200,000. When he heard the amount, he told Jining to help them because their money was little. Lin asked Ju if he didn't want to help them because their money was little, but he told him they didn't have enough money. Manager Tiu came and asked for the owner of the sports car parked outside. Ju saw the car, and then Lin asked the manager about the sports car. He told him that it blocked his car, so he wanted it to be moved. Lin apologized and told Ying that they should go to the store across the street. Ju begged them to stay, but Lin didn't, so the manager told Ju that he was fired. He bought Ying a Leopard Horse 7 and offered to take her to practice since she hasn't driven for a long time. Then Lin met with Quan at a restaurant and told her that he would give 400 million to hire more companies to complete the work early and to design a logo for the company he just set up at the twin mansion. After they were done, Lin was walking to his car and saw a waitress escorting Suj outside because she had too much to drink and couldn't walk on her own. He spoke to her, and then the waitress explained that she got cheated on. She left Suj with Lin to take her home. While in the car, Suj told Lin to take her to a bar, as she wants to continue drinking. But Lin took her to the Peninsula Hotel and ordered wine for her. When she was about to take a sip of the wine, Lin grabbed her hand, telling her to stop drinking. Suj asked Lin if he's afraid that she might do something to him. Lin told her that he's not the one at a disadvantage. Then she told Lin that she has a surprise for him. She took Lin to the bedroom and told him to lie on the bed. Then she kissed him. The next morning, she woke up and saw Lin lying next to her. Feeling embarrassed, she got out of bed and left. When Lin woke up, he found that Suj had left. Then, the system lady told him that he had completed 70% of his career and asked Lin if he wanted to open a new career. Lin did, and he became a delivery boy and received a career package of 10 million RMB, a limited edition Tambourine T12 motorcycle, and a master skill. She told him that the motorcycle was parked in the hotel's parking lot. He went to check it out, put on a helmet, and hopped on it. He drove off. He drove to the university and met Suj. He told her that he had come to resign. After he finished the procedures at the university, he received an order to deliver a piano stand. He arrived and gave it to Professor Ruoguo of Shanghai Music School. While he was waiting, Hu Horan came in, yelling that Lin had arrived too soon because he hadn't finished playing his game yet. Lin told Hu to listen to his mother because she has good intentions. Horan told him that he should practice if it's good, and if he had skills, he wouldn't have been a delivery boy. His mother heard him and yelled at him and apologized to Lin. Lin told her that he does know how to play, and if he wins, Horan will listen to his mother and practice. Lin played one of the difficult syllables that even Gu couldn't play. They were surprised. Then Lin reminded Horan to listen to his mother. She thanked Lin and told him that with his skill, he can change to a high-paying job, but Lin told her that he has no intentions of changing jobs. Then she added Lin on WeChat. The system lady congratulated Lin, rewarding him the Bay Moon Beach. They called him at Bay Moon Beach to do the procedures. He went and met Kai Ting Ting. She gave him the files and told him that he only has the right to use them for 70 years, and it needs renewing after it expires. He wondered if he could deal with the actual manager of Moon Bay Beach. She told him the location, and when he was heading there, he called Bison Zhang to ask how much he knows about the Moon Bay Beach. He told him that it owes more than 200,000. He told Zhang to put the debts together because he's coming to get him. They arrived at Bay Road and found two boys playing around. He gave them the files and told them to tell Dong to evacuate and pay the debt. The boys went and told Dong, who promised to visit Lin and make his business fail. His friend Liu Klung smiled and told Dong that he admires his ruthlessness. Lin went to Peninsula Hotel and asked the manager if there was anyone who owes them. He mentioned Han and that he's in the hotel right now. Lin called Han and told him to pay the debts. Kin Han told him that he's coming to meet him. While Lin was waiting for Han in the manager's office, someone told them that a man named Dong Lai wants to see Lin. Dong entered with his boys. Wang sent someone to assemble the security guards and wait for his notice. Dong dropped a box on the floor and told Lin that it was a token of appreciation, that they are going to do great things together. Lin refused to work with him, so Dong threatened to put the word out so that his business would not be made in the future. Lin pinned Dong's head to the ground, and his boys tried to interfere, but Lin beat them. He told Dong that he owns the hotel and the security guards are his. Dong was shocked. Then Kin Han arrived and asked Liu, who came with Ding, what he was doing at the hotel. Dong ran to Han's side to help them, but Han told Lin that they aren't worth talking business with him. Kin Han chased Liu and Dong out, then turned to Lin and told him that he helped him so he doesn't have to pay back the debts. He agreed, then Yan called him and placed an order. He went to deliver the vegetables and meat, and she told him to stay so she could show him her cooking skills. Lin took off his jacket and told Yan that he would cook. Sometime later he was done with the cooking, and he set the food on the table. Kin Yan started eating, and he complimented Lin's cooking skills. He told her to eat more gluten while he gets juice for her. He opened the fridge to get juice for her, then he heard her moan. He asked her what the situation was, and she told him that the food is delicious. Lin asked why she had called him, and she told him that she wanted him to accompany her to look at the Wangjing terminal. They arrived, and she told him that it would be great if the adjacent area of Moon Bay Beach could be included in the renovation plan. Lin told Yan that he would just buy it, but she told him that he couldn't just buy things because he wants to, and that the beach is owned by ZF, so there's nothing he can do this time. Lin looked at her and put on his helmet. Yan told Lin that there's nothing fun about wearing a bikini and sunbathing on the beach. The manager of the construction site walked towards them and told Lin that Dong Lei had paid the debt and handed the ownership of Moon Bay Beach to him. When Yan asked what they were talking about, he told her that he now owns Moon Bay Beach and asked if she wanted to sunbathe. After they were done, she told Lin to take her to the sea to play when he finds time. He agreed. Then, Lin received an order to deliver 2 swimming hoops at a single price of about 200. Lin went to the store and bought the hoops for 209. He went to the beach and called the one who ordered the hoops, and he told him to look for a red umbrella and that he was wearing blue beach pants. Hu Bing saw Lin and called him over with Luo Fei beside her. Bing looked at Lin's handsome face and then called her friend Lulu to come and see the handsome delivery boy. Lulu saw him and asked why he would want to be a delivery boy. Before Lin could reply, Fei replied, saying he must have a bad brain. Then Bing told Lin to come and work for her in her clothing store. He told her that he's not interested, then asked for them to pay the bill. When he heard the price, Fei yelled at Lin, saying he told him to buy 2 hoops for 200 yuan each, and he bought them for 209. He accused Lin of making a profit on the price difference. Bing offered to pay for it, and Liu told her that he will pay. Then he gave Lin 400 yuan. Lin saw that the money wasn't complete, so he told Liu to pay him the remaining money, but he refused. Lin gave the money to Bing and told her to consider the hoops a gift from him, and said that her friend seems to be poor. Upon hearing that, Liu Fei told Lin that his company's annual profit is nearly 2 million, and he placed an order challenging Lin to buy a Ferrari 812, and he would give Lin the money when he brings the car. Lulu laughed, saying Lin cannot afford to buy a Ferrari. After some time, they were still at the beach drinking wine. Lin showed up with a briefcase, and he emptied the papers for the Ferrari on the sand in front of Liu Fei, and showed him the Ferrari that was in the truck. Liu was surprised to see that Lin really bought the Ferrari. When Lin saw Fei's expression, he smirked and told Liu Fei that he's so rich he should be able to pay for it. Liu looked at Lin with his mouth agape. Liu Fei apologized and told Lin that he doesn't have much money. Lin told him to kneel down 3 times, but Liu refused and called Dong Lei with his men to help him settle the matter. Bing told Lin to run because he can't afford to mess with them. Dong arrived, and Liu pointed at Lin. When Dong looked at Lin, he and Liu apologized for causing him trouble again and asked him what he wants to do with Liu Fei. Lin told them that Fei wanted to make him kneel down and called him grandpa, so they made Liu Fei kneel on the sand until nightfall. He begged, saying he will never do it again. Then Lin told Dong and Liu to go to Bisongjiang and ask him to arrange jobs for them. Bing asked Lin for a ride, and Lulu said she needed one as well. He told Lulu to take the truck. On the motorcycle, the system lady congratulated him for completing 3 orders and receiving 5-star reviews. She rewarded him 1 billion. When he was checking the notification, Bing saw the message and gasped. He took her to her clothing store. Lin asked if the store was hers, and she replied that she graduated from Dongwei University in fashion design. He took her business card and left. Then his college roommate, Zhang Song, called saying he may come to Shanghai to visit him. Lin told him to call him in advance when he comes. Next, he drove to Longsing Research Institute. He told Sun and Yang that he heard Cisco has developed the final program for the control unit, and he knows that the person should be Liu Chu, who was fired by him. Yang told Lin that Liu's results must have loopholes. As far as Liu Chu's skills are concerned, Lin asked her if she had applied for patents, and she wondered if they could register the patent before they establish it. Lin replied that they should have registered long ago, and he told her that when the time comes to bite back, they will become the laughing stock of the entire industry. Some took the blame and told Lin to fire him. Lin refused to fire him and told them that they should work together so that they can go beyond the technology Cisco stole from them. He stayed on the computer for 12 hours and completed the program, but not the domestic lithography. So he told Sun to find a way to get 1,000 clutch lithography machines, and he told Yang to arrange for the development of a new cell phone system as soon as possible. That is not inferior to the 150 ecosystem. He left the building, and he received an order to deliver a duck peak battery charger. An hour later, he knocked on Zhao's door to deliver the charger. When he told him the price, Zhou accused Lin of making the difference. Zhou's wife appeared behind him and told her husband to pay, and he did. As Lin was about to leave, Zhou's wife told him to take the garbage bags with him, but Lin refused, and she threatened him that she would file a complaint and give him a bad review. Lin told her to do it. He walked out of the house and found a delivery boy struggling to carry a table because of its weight. He helped him put it down. Mr. Zhou came out with garbage bags in his hands and yelled at Lin because he had not left yet. He threw the garbage bags on the floor and threatened to kill Lin with his car. Lin showed him his car, and he was astonished to see the kind of car the delivery boy was driving. Lin told Zhao that if he continued treating people the way he did, he would soon be unemployed because he was also engaged in the industry. Mr. Zhu kneeled to correct his garbage bags and told Lin that he would never do it again. Then he received another order and went to an apartment to deliver medicine. The girl who opened the door recognized Lin and mocked him, saying that he had lost all his money, so he was working as a delivery boy. She dropped the medicine to the floor and told Lin to return it. Some guy came out of the bathroom and saw what the girl did to Lin. He recognized Lin and slapped the girl, telling her that Mr. Lin is not bankrupt but experiencing life. Lin gave the medicine to the man and told him to give him a 5-star review, then he left. In his car, Kin Yan called him to remind him that he said he would cook for her, and she told him to meet her at the Times Square supermarket to buy ingredients. They met, and she told Lin that she heard a new big market has opened, and Lin is a diamond number, so he could get them a discount. They went to the market, and Lin was surprised to see that she's only putting cakes in the trolley. She told him that a woman's good mood is given by desserts. While they were shopping, a man named Pan Wen asked Lin Yan if she was interested in the entertainment industry. She told him that she wasn't interested, but the man was persistent. Then Lin told him that she had already said she wasn't interested, and he should ask the fish lady instead. Pan Wen mentioned how he made Liu Fangfi an annual income of more than 100 million, but Lin told him to come back to her in 15 years. He showed Wen his bank balance and told him that he had 1.5 billion, and he wanted to support Yan for 15 years. Pan Wen apologized for troubling them, and then he ran away. They went to Yan's house, the Yunshubilla, and Lin asked her if she was sure her parents weren't at home. She asked him why he was being timid, and he told her that he wasn't timid. He was just a little embarrassed since he had been seen there several times. She handed the files to Lin and told him about the formalities of the foundation. She said that she would arrange a meeting for him to meet the people in charge of the foundation. The next day, she reminded him about the 12 noon meeting. Then he received an order to go to a certain address, but he shouldn't buy anything. He went there and found 5 other men and a guy telling them to take his car out of the ditch. Lin told him that 6 people aren't enough. Then he made his way to his car. The guy told him that he'll still be an errand boy in 10 years. Lin got in his Ferrari and drove past him. The guy was surprised to see him driving the Ferrari. He went to Yan's office. She pointed to the kitchen and told him that she'll cook him good food when she learns how to cook. When Lin was setting the table, Yuan and Tian Zhou entered the office. Yuan told Yan that she has a handsome chef and introduced Zhou. They finished eating, and she was upset that her new boss hadn't arrived yet. Then, Yan introduced Lin as the founder of Ling Yang. She apologized for calling him a chef. Then, they talked about business and told them that the plan is to dominate the world's business map. Once the pie is drawn, they will each have an annual salary of 5 million until the company listings can give dividends. They picked up their wine glasses and made a toast. Then Lin took them to his new company. He showed them the twin mansion and told them that with the 500 million on the books, they will just have to make decisions about the company because he has his own work. Yuan asked what other job he's talking about. He told her that he's working as a fast delivery guy. They entered the building. Yuan and Tian Zhou separated from Yan and Lin. Yan asked Lin whether he has any general direction for the future development and planning, real estate or service industry. Lin told her that he believes in big data. After a while of them discussing business, she told Lin to take her back. Lin went to pick Zhang Song at Shanghai Airport when the system lady appeared and told him that the mission is complete, rewarding him a lucky card limited to 5 minutes. She explained that it excludes extreme cases where it brings a change in luck. Zhang Song arrived with his girlfriend Yu Zhao. Lin told them that he would take them to eat. While they were walking to the parking lot, they met Zhao's brother. He told Song that their mom invited him to dinner. Then he asked Song if he had bought a car yet. Song said he hadn't. He mocked him for not having a car while he has one. Then Lin showed them the Bentley and told them that Song might not have a car, but he has one. They all got in the Bentley. Then Zhou's sister asked for Lin's WeChat so he could borrow the car to use at his friend's wedding. They went to Shanghai Food Street. They were their food. Song thanked Lin for his hospitality. He told him to wait for the night to go to his house so they can talk. Song refused, saying the company will provide accommodation since he came on a business trip. Zhao told Song to stay at Lin's house while she went to her parents' home. Lin called the chauffeur and told him to take them to Kyushu Palace. The brother told Zhao that she has to get in no matter what. Lin asked Zhao what she's doing in his car since she said she's going to her parents' house. She insisted to stay with Song, saying he had too much to drink. They arrived at the palace half an hour later. In the palace, Lin told them that he's going to get wine first. Zhao convinced Song to accept the car Lin was giving him, but Song refused, saying Lin is not his father to take care of him. She got angry as she watched him walk away, and she promised herself to take Lindy down. She excused herself to go to the bathroom, and she followed Lin to the wine room. She asked him if he's single. He showed her Yan's picture, but she continued trying to seduce him and started taking off his clothes. She stood in front of Lin in her underwear. Lin told her that he can't tell the difference between her front and back, and that she is so bad she doesn't deserve his brother. Then he told her to get out. She told him that he would regret it. Then she started crying. When Song entered the room, she accused him of molesting her. Song did not believe her. Then Lin told her that there are security cameras in the house, so she should leave. After she left, Lin apologized to Song. They sat on a couch. Then Lin asked Song what he knows about Cisco. He explained that they have recently made a huge breakthrough in the Chio's terminal program. Lin tried to give Song the car again, but he still refused, saying he will work hard. And when he can't, that's when Lin will pull him along. The next morning, Lin woke up and found breakfast on the table along with a note from Song informing him of a new order, writing a dissertation. He then headed to Shanghai University of Engineering, where he witnessed Sun Ning proposing to Jin Cho to be his girlfriend. She accepted, but when Lin asked her for directions while in his supercar, she declined Sun's proposal, stating that his car was not good enough for her and that the ultimate choice would be a supercar. Meanwhile, Liu Wei was exhausted from typing, but Zhou instructed her to hold on until the errand boy arrived. When he finally arrived, Zhou gave him instructions and promised to pay him double for overtime. Upon seeing the paper, Lin told her that she wouldn't graduate if she submitted it with the incorrect arguments. The question that remained was whether she would correct the paper or submit it as is. Only time would tell. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel and leave a comment if you want another part of this manhwa.